It's Friday night, and what better thing to do than to pop in your favorite Konami game and plug in that Konami code. This Friday, we're going to be playing Contra, and if you guys have been following us along, this is the fourth challenge. This one we're doing right here today is called The Running Man. And yes, there's been a clever title for each one of these challenges, if you're so inclined to figure those out. But what it is, guys, this is inspired by the movie The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I'm talking about. Although this really has nothing to do with this. This is Contra, baby. And what this is a run and gun shooter, bullet hell, frenzy, all that good stuff. But right here, what we're going to do, we're going to take all that out of this. And in the Running Man challenge, what you're going to do is you're not going to fire your weapon unless otherwise you have to, such as to clear a barricade, you know, something like in level 6 where you have to blow up the spike walls, or is that level 7? Or even, you know, the base levels, you know, but you do have to destroy the non-turret orbs to, you know, go to the next stage, to advance the stage. So in those scenarios, firing your weapon is necessary. And that's the whole goal of this, to get through the game with the lowest amount of points in the fastest amount of time. That is the challenge. And you know what? A lot of that's what this is. This is taking some of your favorite games and playing them in a different way. And it's also a good way to utilize the Konami code. A lot of people, you know, some of us Contra vets out there might be like, pshaw, Contra code, don't need it. Hello, I can no death run this game in my sleep. And you know what? That's kind of the point of this. That's the fun of this, is to have some fun. Maybe take it down a level or two, and bring it down and have some fun, and do it in a different way than you're used to, adding some fun and some flavor to your everyday run. So far, like I said, this is the fourth challenge in the line. Ultimately, I wanted to do a co-op run with EZ, but that's probably not going to be happening for a little while. So this might be the last Contra version of the Konami Code Friday challenge for a while, but definitely want to get back into that. I think I've actually been playing this game too much and making myself worse at it, if that's possible. But so far, we started out with Contra Run and Done for the first challenge. And you know what? I hadn't played this game in a long time. Back in the weekly retro challenge, I want to say maybe it was like the second or third week, something like that. Anyway, us, Captain Algebra, back in the day Gamer, and some other people, Captain Saver would stop in. We had Jab Jab. We had some different guys in there for a while, and then you know, it evolved to the not so weekly retro challenge. Anyway, that was basically the last time I had played that game, and you know, I hadn't even really played it competitively since probably college. So the idea of that was a fresh run and a tappers only, meaning that, you know, if it's first run of the day is generally what we mean by fresh run. But again, it's really ultimately the first challenge you want to do to kick off your Contra style Konami Code Friday challenge, because ultimately that's, you know, you want it to be fresh. Like I said, I hadn't played the game competitively in years, so I needed that Konami code to get through, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I was going with there. And then the next one, it was Contra to the Max. And what that was using the NES Max controller and to try and get through the game Contra using the Konami code as well. And again, this was a fresh run. Supposedly, you know, you might have played it the week before or whatnot, but fresh as it's going to be, first run of the day. And, you know, using the NES Max, does it give you the max advantage, or is it the max disadvantage? Play and find out. Again, I have a time, and so the fastest you can do that with the highest amount of points, that's a high score challenge right there, and as fast as you can. The max has built-in turbo, but again, it may be to your disadvantage to use that. It's kind of wonky trying to do different stuff using those, especially fighting the control stick. So that was the idea behind there. I had bought the Max controller. I never even knew it existed. You know, we started this thing a few years back, and we're just collecting random odds and ends. You got to go where the value is, and sometimes it leads you to some very strange places, that one being the NES Max. Now, I saw that and I thought immediately in my mind that would be perfect for California Games doing the surfing level. One of my favorite events in that excellent game. If you guys have not had a chance to play it, so much fun. But anyhow, long story short, that did not work out. And since I have been trying to find a game in which this controller is actually useful, to this day, still not. Maybe I should try 720. Maybe that's what this controller was designed to play, was the game 720. But in my experience, it ain't even gonna work too good for that. So my hopes aren't high. But again, I have been looking for a reason to use this controller, and just so happened to be, I felt like it would be an ultimate leveling of the playing field if everybody was trying to beat the game using the NES Max controller. And you know, there are brief synopsis description in that of the video. Check our Challenge This playlist if you want to see those runs. And then for the following week, again, like I talked about earlier, that was when I was going to get together with Easy. We're going to do a co-op run. Just make it simple, fast, high score, you know, all that good stuff. But anyhow, recently I had purchased the Contra Anniversary Collection on the PS4. I'd had my eye on that one for a while, but you know, as it goes, some of these old games are fine, remade or I should say emulated on a newer console. Especially with these anniversary collections, they have been doing a very good job, and they've given you extra features and things that you're gonna want, and it's worth buying. There's a digital, you know, art book with all the different information, all the stuff you could think of in that. But anyhow, I'd had my reservations of picking that up. But Contra is the kind of game where you want the original. You got to have that on your CRT. You got to have, you know, millisecond reaction time here. We're talking to the max. But anyhow, you know, I thought it looked cool. It had some different stuff on there I was interested in getting. But it just so happened to have the Famicom version of Contra. And am I so glad that I got this anniversary collection, because it brought to light the difference between the NES version and the Famicom version. And let me tell you right now, I feel a little bit ripped off on the NES version. However, it does make, when you're going for speed runs and things like that, it makes it a little bit more fluid, which is always nice. So you know what? Having both versions is incredible. It does make me rethink a lot of my collecting goals, trying to get some of that Famicom stuff. But again, that is Pandora's box, and I don't really feel like opening that anytime soon. And again, that was our Turning Japanese challenge. And this week, the ultimate challenge, the Running Man challenge. Again, you want to get through this game, guys, only firing and discharging your weapon on a need-to basis. Boss fights, obviously, you gotta, you know, kill the boss to pass the level, to advance the game. But again, take this into mind. There are optional targets on these bosses, on these rooms, on these different things. So again, this is a low score challenge, and you're trying to get as far as you can, as fast as you can, with the lowest amount of score. It is a timed speed run, low score challenge, no power-ups, none of that, because not only is that going to give you score, it's just something you don't want to be doing. You're breaking all the rules of the Running Man challenge. If you would like to submit a link to your video, feel free to put those in the comments. Again, you're going for a low score and a fast time on this. So I'm going to go ahead and put mine there in the description of this video, and so you can take a look at that there. If you guys think you got what it takes to bring down my time and bring down my score, feel free, please do. Spoilers, I was not able to complete this game. I did want to get to the end, so that would be, you know, obviously a goal of mine. Again, like I said, actually I've been trying to kind of work on like a no death speed run kind of thing, but I really feel like this particular challenge is going to make me worse at that. So I don't want to invest too much time right now in that. But that being said, I did make it, I'd say, decent far. I had never tried to play this game like this before. Running Super Mario, the original Small Man Speedrun Challenge. And again, these are going to be in our Challenge This playlist if you want to check some of these out. That was really fun. I enjoyed playing the game that way. I feel like it was like the ultimate level of challenge, not collecting coins, you know, trying to get a low score and go fast and stay small. That was the gist of that one. And you know, I may redo that video coming up with some commentary Just to let you guys fill you in on that, let you know what my mindset was on there doing that challenge. But that's basically it. And, I had a great time doing that. So it's actually kind of surprising to me to think that this had never dawned on me before for Contra, seeing as Contra is also one of my favorite games to play, which is kind of the cool thing about this challenge is that, it brings new light to your favorite old games. And I feel like it really kind of levels the playing field a little bit. It's against what people are used to. So, when something is fun, it's always a good time. We'd like to thank you for tuning in to Konami Code Fridays and checking out all these awesome Contra challenges that we've been doing. We're having a great time with this. We hope you've been doing the same. As I mentioned earlier, I think I'm going to give Contra a break for a little bit, and I want to say the next game I would like to do is going to be Gradius. If anybody wants to get down on that, should be shooting for that for next Friday's Konami Code Challenge. Also, if anyone has a complete list of games that the Konami Code works for, let us know. Feel free, link those in the comments. That'd be great to know. I only know a few, so I'm gonna have to try to find some games, but hey, if anybody wants to help me out with that information, I would be much obliged. You've been hanging out with Brothers Forge Gaming, and we'll see you next Friday.